Hey, Bill, what day is it?
Hey gang, welcome back to Hey Bill, what day is it? For those of you who've said you love our food theme shows, you're gonna love today's because this is January 27th, which is National Chocolate Cake Day. We're not sure who was instrumental in getting this day on the calendar, but I'd like to shake his or her hand. According to my online research, chocolate cake is the #1 world favorite cake, followed by red velvet, carrot cake, and banana cake. Actually, cake, as we know it today, wasn't even a thing until the mid-1800s. The earliest example of a published chocolate cake recipe came out in 1847, and in the late 1920s, the Duff & Sons Company put out the first boxed chocolate cake mix, followed by Betty Crocker in 1947. While those mixes are convenient, my favorite is still the scratch-made chocolate cake. My mom, while not the world's greatest cook, would whip up a scratch-made chocolate cake, including homemade chocolate frosting, in less than an hour, including cooling time. And she could do it without ever looking at a recipe. We lived in the country and often had people just drop by to say hi and have a piece of Mom's ever-present chocolate cake and a cup of coffee. None of our neighbors seemed to ever have that problem. Well, whenever we had dinner on the grounds at church on a Sunday afternoon, everyone knew what Mom was bringing. Nobody ever even tried to compete. It would have been a lost cause. One guy at church even said that her cake was so good that you should probably pray for forgiveness after eating it. And I think I probably agree with that. Now, my mother-in-law kind of turned that around in what seemed to be a Cajun dish when she came up with blackened chocolate cake. Living out on the farm, we also had our cows that we milked every day. Those big Jersey and Guernsey cows produced milk that had such high butterfat content that you couldn't even pour the cream off of it. You had to spoon it or scoop it. When we milked, we ran the cream through a big hand crank separator bolted to the counter in the kitchen. For those of you who are about to go out and buy some skim or low-fat milk today, that's the part we used to give to the hogs. One of my dad's favorite snacks was a big piece of Mom's chocolate cake with big spoonfuls of that high butterfat cream on top. That probably didn't do anything to help his coronary artery disease. Come to think of it, neither did the bacon that came from those hogs. But that was a different day. We didn't have cholesterol when I was a kid, but if we had, we would have fried it. Some people called her cake devil's food cake, but devil's food cake is richer, darker, and fluffier than any regular chocolate cake can ever be. In fact, it's been called the chocolate version of an angel food cake. I think that the inference that devil's food is more sinful than regular chocolate cake is what makes it even more appealing. Even those who don't really know the difference are seemingly drawn to devil's food with its dark side. We can't help it. We're instinctively attracted to things that are bad for us. That's why they give us some ice cream flavors named Death by Chocolate. Chocolate cake is kind of weird food when you look at the ingredients. Yeah, all-purpose flour, granulated sugar, baking soda, baking powder, unsweetened cocoa powder, raw eggs, salt, buttermilk, vanilla extract, and vegetable oil. Outside of the sugar, there's not an ingredient on there that you could eat by itself. But when you mix it all together and put it in a hot oven, you get some pretty heavenly stuff. Have you noticed that your life is a lot like a chocolate cake? It seems that a lot of not so pleasant things happen in your life and they come together at the same time. You're asking yourself, why me, Lord? Then God answers by sticking you in a hot oven. It's only then that you realize just what God was up to. He was making what seemed to be adversity into a pretty great life. Try making chocolate cake with just sugar and you'll end up with a burnt, sticky mess. When we finally realize that God works all things together for the good of those who love Him, and look at how wonderfully things ultimately work out, we can thank Him for the good times and the bad. I'm Bill Wasore, and this is National Chocolate Cake Day. Get out there and make this a triumphant day. And while you're at it, click that subscribe button right down there below. We'll see you next week.